All right, welcome guys to the private live stream for the 4-game Olympic slate. We are super excited for this one. First game is Czech Republic versus Iran, then we have Italy versus Germany, Nigeria versus Australia, and USA versus France. So we don't have any starting lineups yet. Again, people have been asking me if Fantasy Labs is going to be providing these lineups. I don't think they are. I can't say for 100% certainty, but I am not convinced that they are going to provide lineups. So we're going to have to, monitor Twitter for the starting lineup. So Czech Republic versus Iran, again, it's a 151 over/under, and Czech Republic are 18.5-point favorites. So there's definitely some blowout risk in this one. Italy versus Germany is a 159.5 over/under. Italy are 5-point favorites. Nigeria versus Australia is a 172 over/under. Australia are 7.5-point favorites. And USA versus France is a 176 over/under. USA are 12-point favorites. So I gotta, apologize in advance for mispronouncing some of these names. I'm definitely gonna botch some of these names. Carlos asked, just for being the only one doing this, appreciate the super chat, $5 super chat. Thank you so much, man. If you guys are just coming in, if you could leave a like button on live stream, it helps me out a ton. And so for this live stream, again, I'm going to go team by team to kind of talk about the players I like and leave some time for some questions at the end. So we will start off with the Czech Republic. And at the top, we have TOMAS SATORANSKY at 6.9K. I really like SATORANSKY. I think he's going to be popular, but I think it's for good reason. So I talked about it in my video a couple days ago, but he's been averaging over 30 minutes a game, actually 33 minutes a game, and he's a guy that is a good point per minute guy, a guy that can kind of do it all, can get those points, get those rebounds, get those assists, and is very cheap for the type of production that he provides. So I think the only thing you have to worry about with SATORANSKY is the fact that there's a chance this game blows out, right? If we look at this spread, Czech Republic versus Iran, it's an 18.5-point spread. So I think the only way he fails is if Czech Republic blows out Iran, right? If this game's competitive and SATORANSKY plays 30-plus minutes, I don't see a way he fails at 6.9K. So I really like SATORANSKY. He's going to be popular, again, though, for a good reason. So really like SATORANSKY. Another player I have to mention here is Balvin at the min price 3K. So he is also going to be, I think if people are watching content for Olympics basketball, he is going to be popular. Again, though, it is for a good reason. He's been starting and playing over 30 minutes a game for the Czech Republic team. He's actually been averaging a double-double. He's the guy that can get you those blocks, those steals. And again, min price. So I really like Balvin here at the flat min price at 3K. Going over the rest of this Czech Republic roster, VESELY is at 6.5K. I think he's a pretty solid play. He should start and play 25-ish minutes. He's a guy that's been averaging close to a double-double. And he's not as mispriced as Balvin, but is still a little bit underpriced if this game says competitive. So I think you can definitely play 3 Czech Republic players here. But if you want to go, 1 or even 2, if you're afraid of the blowout, that completely makes sense. Because if the Czech Republic blow out Iran, then TOMAS SATORANSKY probably only plays, 22, 23 minutes. But this game says competitive. I don't see a way that TOMAS SATORANSKY doesn't pay off a salary. So the Czech Republic, there are definitely some min-price players. Again, SATORANSKY, VESELY, and Balvin are the guys I'm really looking to. So let's move on to Iran. So Iran is a little bit trickier to break down because, some players have only played a couple of games. Some players have played 4 to 6 games. So we have Haddadi at the top at 8.9K. I just don't think I want to go there. He's 36 years old. He has been averaging a double-double for Iran, but I just think I would rather spend up for KD. I'd rather spend up for Damian Lillard. I'd rather spend up for Patty Mills. There are so many guys that I would rather use my salary on than Haddadi than, again, there's a chance Iran gets blown out and some of these guys don't even play the full 4 quarters. So I think Haddadi for me is a fade. Kazemi is at 6.3K. Again, guys, I want to mention I am definitely going to mispronounce some of these names, but I don't know if I want to go to a guy in the mid-range for Kazemi here. Again, there is that blowout risk. So for Iran, there's a couple guys that I want to look to if I am going to go this way. And 100%, again, I'm going to mispronounce these names. I'm going to say B-Yak because there's just absolutely no way I'm going to be able to pronounce this guy's name. But he played 36 minutes in their most recent game. He's been averaging 25 plus minutes. He's the guy that can get you those assists and is almost min price. So he is almost blowout proof, right? If this game blows out and he only plays 20 to 25 minutes, there's still a chance he pays off his salary. So B-Yak is the guy I'm looking to. Also M Jams, again, I'm just not going to try to pronounce these guys' names because there's just no way I'm going to be able to. But both these guys have been averaging 25 plus minutes, and both guys are guys that can kind of do it all, can score, get those assists, get those rebounds. So these are two guys I'm looking to on Iran. I'm not really looking to spend up on the Iran team, but if you're looking to for someone for very, very cheap, it's going to be B-Yak and M Jams. All right, so let's move on to Italy and Germany. This game is projected to be pretty close. Again, it's 159.5 over under, and Italy are 5-point favorites. So the tricky part here is with their most recent games, Italy, we have not seen Gallinari play, again, because obviously Atlanta was in the conference finals. So Gallinari was not able to play in these games. But I project him to obviously start and probably play 30-ish minutes, and Gallinari should be their go-to guy. However, a couple of guys I'm looking to here are Fonchio and Polonara. Both guys are priced at 5.5 and 5.4K respectively. Both have been averaging close to 30 minutes and close to a double-double so far in their lead-up games to the Olympics. And both, again, are solid point per minute guys. So Fonchio, again, 5.5K, and Polonara at 5.4K. are two guys that I like a lot. Now, we will have to monitor the starting lineups. Again, the games start with the first game is at 8 p.m. Central. Next game's at about 11:30 Central, and then throughout the night, like 3:30 a.m. and then 7 a.m. So we'll have to keep an eye on these starting lineups. But if both Polonara and Fonchio start, I like them both a lot. I think you could definitely play them both together. NICO, another guy that you're probably familiar with, is on the end of the bench for the Golden State. Is a point guard, has been averaging 20 to 25 minutes. A guy for Italy has been averaging about 17 points and 4 assists. So I like him a good amount here in the mid-range at that price. The rest of the Italian team, there's not a ton I love for value. I think Nico Melli is fine at 4K. He hasn't been doing a ton, averaging 3 or 4 points a game, a couple rebounds, a couple assists a game. I think he's fine for value, but I think I'd probably prefer a couple other guys in this range. So not a ton else I like here for Italy for value. So let's move on to Germany. All right, so on the German side, again, we have Mo Wagner at the top at 8.5K. I think he's fine for a contrarian option. However, his minutes have been a little bit up and down for this German team. He's come off the bench in both their most recent games. He's played 28 minutes and about 10 minutes. So minutes, again, have been fluctuating. I think if he stays out of foul trouble, he probably plays 20 to 25 minutes. And if you've been, playing NBA DFS this year, Mo Wagner actually is a pretty good point per minute guy. Like for Washington, whenever we could project him for solid minutes, we would target him. So I think Mo Wagner is a decent contrarian spend up. However, I don't know if I want to go to him for my one build if I'm only building one lineup. Now, M Low, again, MAODO Low, I'm going to call him M Low, is probably my favorite play on Germany. So he's been averaging about 30 minutes a game. He's been their point guard with no Dennis Schroeder. He should, in a competitive game, play 25 to 30 minutes. Again, he's been doing a lot of getting a lot of assists and can score the ball. He actually had 28 real-life points a couple games ago, so he has that upside, and it's only 6.1K. So I think M Low is probably my favorite play here on the German side. The rest of the German team, there's not a ton of love. Obst has been getting some decent minutes. Probably should play about 25 minutes, but he's not the best point per minute guy. Is 3.7K. I think I would prefer other value options. Isaac Bonga, 4.2K. We know he is, again, on the end of the bench for the Washington Wizards. However, probably don't want to go there. So there's not a ton I love for the German side. I think my favorite play probably would be Emlo. All right, so let's move on to Nigeria versus Australia. So on the Nigeria side, there's a lot of NBA players. However, they've really been spreading out the minutes, like Okafor, Achua, Gabe Vincent, Metu, Okoji. We haven't seen Nwora because, again, he's been in the playoffs, obviously, with the Bucks. KZ Okpala. So they have a lot of NBA players. However, no one has really seen over 20 minutes. So if I'm going to go to one of these Nigeria players, it's probably going to be towards one of those good point per minute guys. That being Okafor, Achua, maybe a Gabe Vincent. But I will say all three being more contrarian because, like I said, no one has played over 20 minutes in these exhibition games. They've really been spreading out the minutes. So it's hard to get super confident about any of these Nigeria NBA players. On the Australia side, it's a little bit different, right? So Patty Mills, Joe Ingles, both over 9K, 9K, 9.5K respectively. I actually do like Patty Mills. I feel like a lot of people are going to see this price and avoid him. However, he's been averaging closer to 30 minutes and has really been their go-to guy. They beat the United States. They beat them, and Patty Mills was a big reason why. So he is actually one of my preferred spend-up options if you're going to spend up, 9K plus. I really, really like Patty Mills. Now, Joe Ingles also in play. However, I would rather get to Patty Mills for a little bit more, for $500 more. Matisse Thybulle at 8.1K. I mean, he's a good defender. You guys know that if you've been playing NBA DFS. A solid player, role player for Philadelphia. He should play probably around 25-ish minutes. However, I don't know if I want to pay over 8K for Matisse Thybulle. I think I'd rather go to other options. So probably going to pass on Thybulle. Now, what we will have to keep an eye on here is starting lineups for Australia. Aaron Baynes actually got injured early against the United States. He only played about 3-4 minutes. However, I think if he stays healthy, if he is in the starting lineup, he probably plays 20 to 25 minutes, and he's a really, really good point per minute guy. So assuming Aaron Baynes starts, I really like him there at that price. Now, again, this game is in the middle of the night, so if he does not end up starting, if they go to a guy like Jock Landale, who was formerly in the NBA Summer League and should start if Aaron Baynes is not available to play and probably play 20 to 25 minutes, I would like him. So again, keep an eye on the starting lineup here for Australia. If Baynes starts, I really like him. If he does not start, we can go to a guy like Jock Landale. A couple other guys you'll probably recognize here. Dante Exum, formerly in the NBA. He's at 4.7K. Should come off the bench and probably play 15 to 20 minutes. Again, it's been a decent point per minute, guys. I think he's a solid value play. Also, Matthew Dellavedova, again, on the Cleveland Cavaliers. He's been starting at the point guard position. Again, Patty Mills is their go-to guy, but he should probably start and play around 20 to 25 minutes. I think he's a fair value play because he's got the floor of the assist. All right, so let's finish up with USA versus France. Oops. All right, so on the USA side, I mean, a lot of guys are overpriced because, we have KD at 10.6K, Damian Lillard at 10.4K. Both guys have been averaging, give me 1 second here. Okay, so again, KD, Damian Lillard are both over 10K, but both should play 25 to 30 minutes. Both have been very good point per minute guys. Hold on. Sorry about this, guys. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so with KD and Damian Lillard, again, both guys are over 10K. I expect them to play 25 to 30 minutes. Both have been their highest usage guys. And below these two, I really don't apologize for that. Yeah, I really don't expect into anyone else. Like Tatum is at 9.7K. Probably play over 25 minutes. But yeah, exactly. But other than that, like Booker, Levine, Draymond Green, Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton, Jeremy Grant, these guys are all overpriced. Like Middleton, Drew, and Devin Booker have not played an exhibition game yet for the United States. So like we don't know what to expect from them. We don't even know if they're going to play. We don't. So like I am completely avoiding the rest of the guys below Tatum. So like KD, Lillard, Tatum are the only three I'm really looking to. Like KD and Lillard more, I would say, because these two should be the number one and number two on offense. I expect both guys to play, again, 25 to 30 minutes. So if you are going to spend up for one of them, I would say probably a lean towards Kevin Durant. But like Lillard is right there, and then Tatum would be the third guy I would look to. I wouldn't get a ton of exposure to USA. I think a lot of these guys are overpriced. So like maybe get to one or two. I would say probably try to get to one guy in your lineup. And if you get to two, that's fine. But don't go crazy. Like don't load up in the USA because a lot of these guys are overpriced. Answer, yeah. Okay, let's finish up with France. So Rudy Gobert at 9.9K. It's just overpriced, right? He's the guy that is going to be the starting center, probably play 25 to 30 minutes, but I don't want to use one of my spin-ups on Rudy Gobert, so I'm just going to pass there. Now, a few other guys I want to mention here, Nando De Colo, Evan Fournier, Nick Batum, all look pretty decent. I would say Evan Fournier probably my favorite at 6.8K. He has been their go-to guy. He should play 25 to 30 minutes. If you look at their exhibition games, he's been their leading scorer. So if I am going to go to one of these French players, it's going to be Evan Fournier. I think he is a little bit underpriced. Now, I would prefer SATORANSKY to Fournier because if you look at each of the rosters, right, France has, 4 or 5 NBA players. The Czech Republic is basically SATORANSKY. So if you're going to go to one of these guys in the, 6K range, I would rather go to SATORANSKY. However, I would, I'm fine with going to Fournier. And if you want to play both together, that looks good to me. The rest of this France roster, Ntilikina 3.6K, I think probably comes off the bench and plays 15-ish minutes. Fine contrarian option, but I'm probably not going to go there. VESELY for France, they have him listed as out, but keep an eye on this. He's been playing some decent minutes. He's been averaging around 20 minutes. He actually is a decent point per minute guy. And if he does start, I would think he gets close to that 20-minute mark. So, again, monitor the starting lineup here for France, but if he does start, I would have a little bit of interest there in VESELY. All right, guys, so that's basically it for the team-by-team breakdown. Got about 5 minutes left for some questions, so make sure to leave them in the chat. Again, I apologize. Yeah, leave some questions in there, Deacon. Looking exactly. VESELY 3.1K France. No, I think he's a good value play, right? Because he's been playing some decent minutes. He is cheap. He's a good rebounder. I would think he probably plays 15 to 20 minutes. So I do like some VESELY here for value. Again, I don't think Fantasy Labs is going to post these lineups, so we're going to have to monitor Twitter. Yeah, so with the first game, again, what you have to worry about with Czech Republic versus Iran is the potential for a blowout, right? It's a 19-point spread, so there's a decent chance that game doesn't stay competitive. Yes, I will repost whatever I see on Twitter. So, like, if I see a starting lineup, I'm going to repost it. Yeah. Thoughts on Haddadi? Probably not for me. I think I'd rather use him to spend up on, like, KD or Lillard or Patty Mills. Again, Iran are almost 20-point underdogs, so I'm probably going to pass there. Hey, appreciate that, Ren Pack. Thank you. I know you're a Michigan man as well, so we'll have to connect. Yeah, again, I don't expect Fantasy Labs to cover this, so we're gonna have to monitor it on Twitter ourselves. Mannion or Batum? I think I'd leave it. I think I'd lean Mannion because he's got the floor of the assist and should play 25-ish minutes. Top play at shooting guard? Yeah, good question. So I've been asked a few times here, like, who is my top play at the shooting guard position? I mean, point per dollar, it's probably going to be Evan Fournier, right? Because he should start and play in a competitive game, I would say 30 minutes, right? Devin Booker, we have no idea what Booker or Drew or Middleton are going to do because we have not seen them play an exhibition game. Zach LaVine, I don't think I want to use one of my spin-ups there. Dante Exum, he's been coming off the bench, I would say probably 15 to 20 minutes. There's not a ton of great plays here for shooting guard. So I think it's going to be Evan Fournier for me if I'm going to spend up. If I'm not going to, it's probably going to be B-Yak or M-Jams, being one of those Iran guards because both guards have been averaging around 25 to 30 minutes. And they're very, very cheap, right? B-Yak is 3.2K. M-Jams is 3.1K. Twitter is in the description below, but it's DK__DFS. Yeah, so Patty Mills is actually one of my favorite spend-ups. He is right there with Lillard, right there with KD. He has been their top guy. He should play over 30 minutes. I know he hasn't been, a great fantasy player for the Spurs this year, but it just, you can't really think about it that way, right? For Australia, he is their clear go-to guy. He's going to handle the ball a ton, and he's a great scorer. So I do like Patty Mills a good amount here. Emlo and Vesely or Tatum and Jams, it's a good question. I'd probably lean towards the first. Yeah, so Jams or Yak, again, we're talking about Iran guards, right? I'm not even able to close to pronounce these names, but probably a small lean towards M-Jams. It's close, though. Yeah, so Alex, good question, right? B-Yak, M-Jams, or Dellavedova. Monitor the starting lineup. If both Yak and Jams start for Iran, then it's almost a toss-up. Again, Dellavedova, I do expect him to start too. I would say he's probably the safest option because that game should stay competitive, and I expect 25-ish minutes from him. Obviously, he's not going to be their go-to guy, but he is going to start most likely alongside Patty Mills. Yeah, so where can we find starting lineups? I don't have a good answer for that. I will say search Twitter, right? Fantasy Labs, I don't think it's a project starting lineup. So, like, search Iran basketball starting lineups. And you probably will find it, I will say, 15 to 30 minutes before lock. Yeah, Dirty Dan, good question. Best utility, 4.5K and below. I think it's going to be Baldwin, right? So, let's go to Czech Republic. He is the flat min price. And he doesn't have any stats on Draftkings, but he's been their starting center. He's been actually averaging a double-double. I expect him to play close to 30 minutes in competitive games, so he is probably my favorite value play on this 4-game Olympic slate. Yeah, Blake Shibb. So here, let's go back to Czech Republic. He's only 4.4K. He's been playing some decent minutes. However, I would rather get to Balogun for less. I would rather get to SATORANSKY or VESELY for a little bit more. So he's probably my fourth, I would say, favorite Czech Republic player. Exactly, yeah. So, like, if you're concerned about it, search the country's Twitter, right? So Iran, they have a basketball Twitter. I'm following them. So I would say, like, search their Twitters and make sure you are up to date with everything. Where can I watch the game in Canada? Good question. I do not have a good answer for you. So how much cash to leave on the table? Another good question. I will say for the main slate, you can leave 1,000 or 2 on the table. For showdown slates, there's a lot of players that are clearly underpriced. So I will say you can leave $5,000, $6,000 on the table. Lillard and Gallinari or Patty Mills and Ingles? Good question. I think I'm going to lean the first one. No big gadget. I think there's a limit basketball. Let's see. Yeah, no, 3 Czech Republic players is fine. And if the game is competitive, I think that could be the optimal lineup. The only thing you have to worry about there is the fact that there's a chance the game blows out. Thoughts on Gallinari. So a little bit tricky to break down Gallinari because we haven't seen a game yet in the exhibitions. However, he should be their go-to guy, and I would think probably plays close to 30 minutes. So I do like Gallinari. However, I would rank him behind SATORANSKY for a little bit less. Yeah, Jan VESELY for the Czech Republic, I think is a solid play. I think he is underpriced. He's been averaging close to double-double in the exhibition games. I think I'd rather get to SATORANSKY for a little bit more, a Balogun for obviously less. Yeah, MANNION or Fournier, that's a good question. I think both are a little bit too cheap. However, I think I would lean Fournier because that game is almost a 180 over-under. All right, guys, 1 minute left here. Then I'm going to get out of here and go stream for Patreon. So I appreciate everyone coming to check out this live stream. Mannion or Baynes? So assuming Bulls start, I think I would rather take the discount on Baynes. Again, though, keep an eye on the Australian lineup. That is in the middle of the night, I believe, right? That's a 3:20 a.m. game. All right, this will be the last question, guys. Best forward spend up other than KD? Okay, a good question. Forward is not as strong as we usually see, but I think Tatum would probably be the guy. If you don't go Tatum, it's going to be one of those Italians, either Gallinari or Foncio or Polonara. Again, we'll have to monitor what Italy does with the starting lineup, but if all 3 of Gallinari, Foncio, and Polonara start, I think I'll try to get to at least one of those guys. Again, Foncio and Polonara have been averaging almost 30 minutes, have been averaging close to a double-double. So those 2, assuming both start, I think are underpriced, and I like them a good amount. All right, Tori, last question here. $5 super chat. Thank you. DK, make sure. Yes, I will make sure I get that FaceTime back. All right, guys. Thank you again. We hit almost 200 concurrent viewers in Olympic basketball. This is the first slate for Olympics, but I will be covering each and every slate. We have 2 games tomorrow, so I haven't seen anything yet on Draftkings, but I'm assuming they're gonna post players and their salaries. I will have content for that whenever it comes out, and then obviously a live stream as well. So thank you again, guys. Enjoy these games, and I will be back here tomorrow